Hello, this is part of the AI at New York Tech series, Understanding Types of AI. So, for today's agenda, we're going to discuss what is AI, as well as AI and machine learning, AI deep learning. We're going to discuss traditional AI, as well as generative AI and large language models, the importance of AI and large language models in various industries. We'll discuss some case studies, as well as ethical and security considerations. So, just as a refresher, what exactly is artificial intelligence? So, artificial intelligence is the technology that enables computer systems to mimic human behavior, such as to learn, read, write, talk, see, create, play, analyze, and make recommendations. So, this could be both hardware and software. But AI is not just the technology, it actually refers to the field of computer science that is focused on developing these technologies as well. So, you may actually have students in your classes that are studying AI tools and how to create them. It is also a field which combines computer science and robust data sets to enable problem solving. So these are the data scientists that need to have a lot of robust data analyzed. They can use artificial intelligence as a field. Some of the two subfields of artificial intelligence is machine learning and deep learning, which are frequently mentioned in conjunction with artificial intelligence. And what's really great is these disciplines are comprised of AI algorithms, which seek to create expert systems to make the predictions and classifications based on input data. So you put in data, you put in prompts, and it spits information out for you. So here's a nice visual of what are exactly where artificial intelligence lives within the data science field. So data science is at the very bottom. So this is the all things encompass data science. It's a cross-disciplinary field that seeks to extract value from data. Then you have the deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning, which is artificial neural networks. So this is where the new prompts and new information is created. The machine learning is the algorithms where you actually put in the data and it spits out based on what it knows on the data sets that has been trained on, but it does not necessarily create new information. And then there's artificial intelligence, which makes this is the programs with the ability to learn and reason like humans. So, AI and machine learning. So, artificial intelligence and machine learning are closely related fields in computer science as well as data science that's focused on creating systems that can perform tasks that would typically require human intelligence. So, this is the heartbeat of AI is machine learning because it could take the information and take it and make it into something else that replicates human intelligence. So, machine learning provides the statistical tools and methodologies to realize the decision making features in AI. While AI is a broader goal of autonomous machine learning, machine intelligence, machine learning is the means through the AI through which AI has achieved. So it is the heart, it is the engine that keeps AI going because it is focusing on the development of algorithms that can learn from and make predictions based on data. So it takes the data that's being brought into the system and spits it out into what it thinks you want it to say. So there's actually three different types of machine learning. There's supervised learning, which is the algorithms are trained on labeled data. So this is structured data where the input and corresponding output are known. The algorithm learns to map inputs to outputs based on the provided examples. But there's also unsupervised learning. So this involves training algorithms on unlabeled data, so no rules, not sure where this data lies or lives, and where the algorithms discover patterns structures in data without predefined labels. So rather than the developer or the trainer putting labels on the data, it allows the machine to recognize the patterns and structures within the data to do those predefined labels. There's also reinforcement learning. So this is what we all do. So this is reinforcement learning involves training algorithms to make sequential decisions by rewarding desirable actions and penalizing undesirable ones. It's like training a dog. So you need to have, you provide it with treats when it does something good, and then you provide it with correction when it does something bad. So for AI and deep learning, so they are interrelated fields as well, where deep learning is a specialized, robust subset of machine learning, which is in turn a subset of AI. So, deep learning is a specialized approach within machine learning that pushes the boundaries of AI capabilities, And this is what creates and processes the complex data sets. So AI is the overarching discipline that aims to create systems capable of intelligent behavior. So deep learning is what makes the new content. So there's three different types of deep learning. So there's neural networks. So they attempt to simulate the behavior of a human brain, allowing the machine to learn in large amounts of data. So it pretends it's a human. There's data and complexity handling. So the deep learning can handle large volumes of data and complex patterns. And this actually surpasses the capabilities of traditional machine learning in many ways. It is effective for tasks like image and speech recognition, language translation, and game strategy development. It also has automated feature extraction, which is actually really cool because deep learning algorithms can automatically detect the features that are important for classification or prediction from the data. So we're going to discuss two different types of AIs, traditional AI as well as general generative AI and large language models. So traditional AI refers to systems that are designed to perform specific tasks. So these have the predefined rules and data sets. They cannot create new content. Two great examples of this is chatbots, which programs are designed to simulate conversation with human users. If you ever log onto a website and try to get some help and support, you may be speaking to a virtual assistant or a chatbot. And then there's virtual assistants, which is the software agents that users assist users with various tasks. So this is the Siri's, the Bixby's, Google, Alexa, and they are allowed to do the most that they can do that they have been trained on, but they do not create necessarily new information. So the key aspects of traditional AI. So you have the symbolic representation. So this represents the knowledge in a form that both computer and humans can understand. So this symbols represent objects, concepts, or relationships in the world. You have rule-based systems. So these are a set of rules and if-then or Boolean statements that are used to process data and make decisions. You have expert systems, which are designed to mimic the decision-making abilities of a human expert in the field. Logic and search algorithms. So these techniques are the first-order logic, proposition logic, and various forms of search algorithms. And then there's also knowledge engineering. So this is the process of integrating knowledge into AI systems to solve complex problems. Now, with generative AI and large language models, this is where it got interesting for the world in general, but particularly education. So Gen AI and large language models are the systems that are capable of generating new content. So these are the ones that you put in the data sets, you put in the prompts, and it often utilizes deep learning techniques to spit out new content for you. Some of the main examples that we wanted to kind of just use as examples would be ChatGPT as well as DALL-E. So these are both created by OpenAI. Google has Gemini, which was formerly known as Bard. Microsoft does Bing AI as well as Copilot. And then Google actually has a new AI tool in their Vlogger software, which is it takes a image to a talking video, so you can make a talking video from an image. And then there's Claude, which is it processes large amounts of information, and Claude is actually coming up in speed with the education realm. So a lot of educators are starting to use Claude more than ChatGPT. So the key aspects of generative AI and large language models. So there's the training. So these tools are trained on large data sets to learn from the distribution structure of data. So this could mean that they're learning from books, articles, websites, and other forms of written language, as well as the prompts that the users are providing them. There's generation. So after training, these models can generate new content. And this is the part that makes it a little scary. They're versatile. So beyond text, it can include generative realistic images, creating music, synthesizing speech, and even designing new molecules for drugs. There's the interactivity. So it is supposed to be used in a conversational manner, providing responses to queries, engaging in dialogue, as well as adapting to the user's style of communications. However, I think one thing that we're all worried about is that there's ethical and societal implications. So it raises important ethical questions regarding the authenticity of content, copyright issues, the potential for misuse, and the impact of jobs in creative industries. So this is really big right now for artists and also authors as well as newspapers because it's that copyright issue. So if you're creating new content based on public data and public information, is that a copyright violation? So some of the benefits of utilizing AI is it enhanced efficiency and productivity. So it automates repetitive tasks. It can analyze vast amounts of data and providing valuable insights. So it could do a lot faster and a lot more efficiently than humans can. In finance, it can streamline fraud detection processes, improve investment decisions, as well as optimize trading strategies. And in healthcare, it can analyze patient records, aiding in diagnosis and predicting potential health risks, leading to more efficient treatment plans and better patient outcomes. So there's also the personalized customer experience. So this is what we're all kind of familiar with Facebook as well as marketing aspects. So it enables businesses to deliver personalized experiences in their customers across various touch points. So this is where we always say that the algorithms are watching you. In retail, it can analyze customer behavior to suggest products tailored to an individual needs, which if you ever have shopped on Amazon, you definitely have seen this, and thereby increasing customer satisfaction and sales. But in marketing, it can also generate personalized content such as targeted emails or advertisements. I get a lot of targeted emails because all of a sudden I'm looking up one thing and now I'm getting all these targeted ads for it. But it can also help with innovative product development. So AI and large language models are drive innovation by facilitating the development of new products and services. In manufacturing, AI-powered predictive maintenance systems can anticipate equipment failures and minimizing downtime and reducing maintenance costs. So it can actually predict that equipment's going to fail before it does, which allows it to be more companies to be more proactive than reactive. And in transportation, it can actually rely on AI algorithms to navigate safely and efficiently. This is when you get the beep beep beeps if you're going across lanes. So let's talk about three different case studies about using AI. So MIT Open Learning actually utilizes AI to personalize online courses, adapting content to individual learning styles or preferences. So that's really cool. It actually, based on what you are looking at in OpenAI or Open Learning, it will show you other examples of what you should learn. Another example is Nota's automatic AI model compression platform. So this is actually includes facial recognition as well as intelligent traffic monitoring. So what's really great about the facial recognition is it improves the efficiency and accuracy by compressing AI models, enabling faster processing and reduced resources. And for traffic monitoring, it enables a real-time analysis of traffic patterns and congestion, facilitating better traffic management optimization. And I really appreciate when Google updates that, there's an accident ahead and all of a sudden it's all red. The faster you could get that information to users and consumers, then the more accurate you could be with the traffic monitoring. The third one is actually noise suppression. So it utilizes machine learning algorithms to suppress background noise in audio recordings and communication. So this enhances audio quality for communication systems, as well as improved accuracy and reliability of voice recognition. So I actually use a noise canceling headset, and it's actually really great knowing that those that I am talking to with my headset can't hear any of the background noise that might be going on until it gets too loud for the situation. So the fourth example is Sonar. So this is find labeling errors in databases. So if anybody has gone through and worked on databases, you know that there's always errors because humans are not perfect and neither is AI. So what this is though, it's an AI-powered tool used to detect and correct labeling errors in databases, ensuring data accuracy and reliability. So this goes through the data and finds the potential risks and issues for you in a faster way rather than you manually having to go through the data yourself. One of the things that we want to be very mindful of is the information that we're putting into the AI tools. So we do have at New York Tech, we do have a data classification matrix, which is a really great tool to discuss what is public data, restricted data, as well as confidential data. So public data is press releases, course information, and research publications. So this is data that you could probably find elsewhere on the interwebs as well as Google and on our website. Then there's confidential data. So confidential data is data protected by the state or federal privacy regulations. So you can think about this as HIPAA and FERPA, as well as data protected by confidential agreements. So this is social security numbers, maybe home addresses, additional data information. And you never want to put this information into an AI tool because that allows a security risk and then allows other people's information to be sent elsewhere and used on the dark web. Restricted data is all institutional data that is not explicitly classified as confidential or public, but should be treated as restricted data. So this is the gray area of our data, right? So we want to take a step back and think about the purpose of utilizing this AI tool with this data. So this data we'll go through this a little bit further, but this data you may have to actually scrub of any identifier information as well as make it more anonymous in order for it to be used in a AI tool. Or you may want to not even include this type of data in an AI tool even after removing all of the identifiers that you can. So there's a data privacy paradigm. So the ChatGPT and other our large language models are trained on data sets from the public data as well as user prompts. So the large language models learn from user interactions, which magnifying the risk of leaked information being used for nefarious reasons. So what you're putting into the tool is learning from. One of the core challenges posed by generative AI right now is unlike conventional applications, large language models have no delete button from the consumer side. The delete button comes from the application and the software developer side only. There's also no straightforward mechanism to unlearn specific information and no equivalent to deleting a row in your database's user table. So if you thought you cleaned and scrubbed your data, and then all of a sudden you see that you put people's username and passwords were in there, there's no way of saying, oh, just kidding, I want you to delete just those informations. So it's very important to be very mindful of what data that you're actually putting into these softwares because we do not want to have any risk issues or any leaked information getting tied back to the use of this tool. One of the things that you can do is you can actually ask the software companies for a privacy statement or how do they use their tools. We'll give you some questions at the end to ask them. But this is an example of one that we received when I went to the software company and said, hey, talk to me about your data retention for your tool. And it says our AI developed and maintained by OpenAI, so that is the tool that created ChatGPT, does not retain personal information from users' interactions. Perfect. Does not retain it. It's not being kept on a cloud server, on a actual server, or somebody's not writing it down and throwing it into a file cabinet. It also says that in line with privacy and data protection best practices, the information is provided during interactions is processed to generate responses and is not stored after the conversation ends. So once again, they're not retaining any personal information and they're not storing the conversation after it ends. Perfect. So we prioritize our user privacy, ensuring that conversations are confidential and not used for any purpose beyond providing immediate responses. Great. So now they're showing us that their tool is not learning from our conversations. And they say our commitment to privacy is reflected in adherence to strict data protection standards, including the compliance with relevant regulations such as the GDPR, which is the European Union privacy laws, and the CCPA, which is the California privacy laws, to safeguard user information effectively. So when I read this privacy statement, I see that they do not retain the information, personal information from user interactions. They do not store any information after the conversation ends. The conversations are confidential and not used for any purposes beyond providing immediate responses. So they're not selling the data, they're not training their system on the data. And they're also following the GDPR and CCPA regulations, which is great. So this tool sounds safe. So some key security risks that we want to make sure that we review is that there's the data retention and misuse component. So this is when personal information is shared in a chat, such as addresses or phone numbers, and they could be retained and potentially assessed and used inappropriately due to inefficient deletion policies. So if you have some personal information in there, you put it into the chat, into the AI tool, it may get reused in nefarious ways. There's also the proprietary information leakage. So if you're working on a project and you have working with a confidential information or proprietary code, you do not want to put those into an AI tool because that allows information to be leaked and could be exploited by a competitor to gain a market advantage, but it could also just be another security risk that we do not want to have in there. There's also the data privacy regulations. So we referenced two data privacy regulations in the previous slide with the European Union as well as California, but information shared with a large language model hosted in a different legal jurisdiction might inadvertently violate laws about international data transfer. So you also want to be mindful of where the tools are being stored and created. So how to use AI safely? So you want to be mindful of the personal information. So you don't want to have a lot of personal information out there. And you also want to understand the privacy settings. So that's discussing with and asking the software company exactly what the privacy settings are. You don't want to overshare. So this reminds me of when we first got Facebook and everybody was putting their first and last name, their maiden names, where they went to high school, what year did they graduate from high school, where are they checking in, where are they going, where are they going to college, where do they work? And we were just providing a lot of information on social media when it first started. And I feel like a lot of people are starting to scale that back. And that's really what we want with AI is you do not want to overshare. Anonymize what you can. You also want to think critically and you want to be mindful of understanding the tools that we're using and know that AI is not perfect. So it does still need that human touch and human capability. You want to report any inappropriate content. So if the AI tool is providing you with inappropriate content or some hallucinated responses, you want to report that to the software company because that can help them deter their tool and retrain their tool because there might be something wrong with it. You also want to be cautious of AI generated messages. So this is messages that you receive that you did not go above and beyond to ask it any questions. You should always be the one that's prompting AI to provide the response. AI should not be reaching out to you first. You also don't want to solely rely on AI. Like I said, AI is not perfect. It's created by humans. There's unconscious bias. There's blind spots in the data sets. There's always the issues with prompt engineering that you might not be getting the best prompt. You might be getting hallucinated answers. So you do not want to solely rely on AI. It could be a really great rough draft, but it should not be your final draft. And you also want to stay informed. So staying informed means taking trainings, learning about what is going on in your industry and your field with AI tools, and staying in the know. And that's something that the New York Tech community, as well as ATS, is trying to do for you, is to ensure that you're staying informed and have these opportunities for professional and personal development, as well as fully understanding the tools that are available to you. So a couple more ways that you can secure your digital footprint is you can use anonymization techniques. So before submitting the text for grammar checking, you want to anonymize or alter names, locations, and identifiable details within the document. So you want to make sure that it does not know a lot of information about you, but it knows enough to be able to provide you a response. You want to use hypothetical scenarios or anonymize the content to avoid a context to avoid revealing specific strategies or technologies. You do not need to have a very specific example. You can actually use hypothetical scenarios as well. You want to understand and leverage the privacy policies. So this is where you want to review and understand the updates and the privacy policies of large language model providers. Ask the service provider about the data retention and deletion practices to assess the security of your data. So you saw that I did that with a sample privacy statement, but you want to make sure that you understand fully where your data is going. You can also seek secure alternatives. So for sensitive discussions, opt for platforms that offer end-to-end encryption to ensure that conversations remain confidential. There also are opportunities for you to examine the free version versus the paid version um, of a tool, because sometimes the paid version can provide more of a secure uh, encryption and secure alternate to the free version. So that's something that you may want to also examine is, okay, how do they secure my data? How am I secure with the free version of this tool versus the paid version of the tool? And if you're going to be using the tool a lot, you might as well go with the paid version to keep you safe. Speaking of keeping you safe, so New York Tech, we are trying to keep you safe. So we're currently developing and vetting a process for the use of AI tools. ATS does not currently support the AI functions of these tools, but once they have been vetted, we are here to help. One of the great examples of this is that there's a lot of Office 365 AI tools in Word, PowerPoint, and Excel that we are actually going to be doing trainings on. You want to use the tools at your own risk. So you want to anonymize your prompts when possible. Also, you want to use your personal email address to create the accounts if necessary for these tools. The reason being is your NYIT is actually a way to is a self-identifier, so that the tool actually knows that someone who works or goes to school at NYIT is using the tool. Whereas if you use your Gmail address, it's just another person using Gmail. And you also want to see how long the apps keep your info and what do they do with it. So there are some really great alternatives out there for the keeping you safe.